Assalamu alaikum dear students. Welcome back to the topic mechanical properties of fluid. In the last lecture we had studied two instrument which is used to measure pressure. One is barometer and the second one is open tube manometer. Now let's move to the another concept in the topic mechanical fluid, that is surface tension. You might have been familiar with this term. You might have studied this term in your chemistry lectures. Before that, let me ask few questions. Very first question is, why raindrops are spherical in shape? Do you know the answer? Why they are not taking any other shape like tetrahedron, rectangle? Why they are not cubical? Why they are not spherical? Why they are not why they are not oval? These are the few shapes. Why they are not conical? Why they are taking the spherical shape? This is the very first question. That spherical shape of liquid drop, or you can say water drop. Second question, you might have seen that small insect can easily walk on the still surface of water by just creating a dimple on its surface. Third one is, you might have seen in your ink pen that ink rises in the ink pen to the nib of the ink rises in the capillary which is there in the ink pen to the nib of the pen. How does it rises? Third one is, how does the oil move from bottom of the lamp to its wick? These are the few questions that we will answer by studying this concept, surface tension. Before that, let us concentrate on this very first question, why the raindrops are spherical in shape. Similarly, you can take the example of a universe in which almost all the celestial objects are spherical in shape. You might have observed it. So let's search the answer for it. So for that, we are going to discuss all the shapes. Let us take the equal volume of all the shapes. When equal volumes of all the shapes, consider a cubical shape. Here, triangular shape. And let's take the conical shape also into account. You can consider it as a tetrahedron. So when equal volumes of all the shapes are taken, provided that liquid is having equal volume in all the shapes, so we will take one spherical shape also. They all are having same volume. So when equal volume of all the shapes of a liquid in these shapes are taken, it is found that out of these shapes, only sphere is having a least surface area. You all are familiar with the surface area. So it is found that when the liquid, equal volume of a liquid is taken in all the shapes, so only the sphere is having least surface area, while rest of the shapes are having the surface area which are quite greater than the sphere. So for this research, we can suggest one thing, that liquid is trying to occupy, because raindrops are spherical in shape, so liquid is trying to occupy the minimum surface area. This is what the liquid wants, that it should have the least surface area. That is why they are spherical in shape. But do you really satisfied with this answer that only just because of the surface area of a sphere is quite low, that is why the liquid is acquiring spherical shape? So we will go into the detail why they are minimizing the surface area. Why this? There again one question will come into account, that why the liquid is minimizing its surface area. This we all have come to know that the sphere is having the least surface area, so liquid wants to occupy the minimum surface area, that is why they are spherical in shape. But again one question is there in front of us, that why the liquid is minimizing its surface area. So one fact we know about that, why the raindrops are spherical in shape, because they want to occupy the minimum surface area, and reason for this is not known to us still. So similarly, there is one more fact in the universe, that every object wants to acquire the minimum state of energy as well. Suppose you have been given one task to move in a circular path, or suppose there is a circular road and you are asked to take a 5 round of it. Would you like to do that? Your first answer is no, we don't want to waste our energy in such tasks. Correct? Your first answer is no. Now suppose you don't have to utilize your own energy. You have been given the Glucon-D. Drink the Glucon-D and take the 5 round of this circular ground. Would you like to do that? No, there will be again loss of energy. Why to have such an extra amount of energy to do the work? Everybody in the universe, this is the natural truth, that everybody in the universe wants to remain inactive. This is the property of every object. We have been created lazy. We don't want to do any work. So this is another property of any object, that it should have to perform minimum amount of work. When the amount of work is minimum, when the energy is low. So everybody in the universe wants to remain inactive, or wants to acquire the minimum state of energy. These are the two facts that we have to take it into account while answering this question, that why the liquid is minimizing its surface area. So the answer is given by molecular theory of surface tension. Surface tension, we are going to define this term afterward. The word surface tension, we will define it, but afterward, and we will see the concept of it. Here in today's lecture, we are just going to answer this question, that why the raindrops are spherical in shape, and why the liquid is minimizing its surface area. So the answer is given by molecular theory of surface tension. This is something like surface tension that we are going to define it. So let's answer this question, and the answer is given by molecular theory. To understand the molecular theory of surface tension, we should get familiar with these terms. See the very first term, intermolecular forces. We all know that in any element is made up of molecule is made up of atoms. So all the molecules are bind together with each other, that with the force called as intermolecular forces, and these intermolecular forces are nothing but the forces between the molecule. So whenever two molecules interact with each other, when they attract each other or when they repel each other, that forces are called as intermolecular forces. And these intermolecular forces are of two types. See, the very first one is cohesive force. Cohesive force are nothing but the intermolecular forces between the two molecules of same substance. For example, intermolecular forces of attraction. Suppose these two molecules are the molecule of water, H2O. These are two H2O molecules. So attraction between these two H2O molecule, since they are of same substance, so forces of attraction between the two molecules of same substance is called as cohesive force. So you can say that forces of attraction between the two solid molecule, forces of attraction between the two liquid molecule, forces of attraction between the two gaseous molecule, all are called as cohesive forces. Next thing is adhesive force. Adhesive force are the forces of attraction. Adhesive forces are the forces of attraction which exerts between the two molecules of two different substances. For example, here there is one molecule of liquid and there is one molecule of gas. So if they are attracting each other or they are interacting with each other, then these forces of attractions are called as adhesive forces. So you can give the example of adhesive forces as forces of attraction between the molecule of solid and liquid, between the molecules of liquid and gases, or forces of attraction between the molecule of solid and gases. So understood these two concepts, cohesive forces, two molecules should be of same substance. Adhesive forces, the attraction between the two molecules are of different substances. Now, next term which is very important is range of molecular attraction. What is mean by range? Suppose there are two corners in a room. There are two walls, one is along this one and the other one is this one. If one molecule is placed on this wall and the other one is placed on this wall, you just tell me whether there will be any forces of attraction between these two molecules. The answer is no, because these two molecules are very far apart. They are on the two corners of the room. They are on two different walls and there is such a large distance between the two walls. So there will not be any forces of attraction between these two molecules. Right? So you can say that these intermolecular forces of attraction, they are of very short range. They are effective to a small distance only, and beyond that distance the forces of attraction are not effective. So what we will do over here is we will take one molecule. Let us consider one molecule. The name of this molecule is A. So this molecule will attract or repel any other molecule when the other molecule or any other molecule will come in the range of this molecule. Correct? So there is a certain limit that the forces of attraction between the forces of attraction due to this molecule will be observed. So that limited distance, suppose this is the distance, up to 1 centimeter the forces of attraction is observed, and beyond the 1 centimeter the forces of attraction will not be observed. So this is called as range of molecular attraction. Range of molecular attraction is nothing but the maximum distance maximum distance up to which the forces of attractions are effective. So this is called as range of molecular attraction. And if any molecule comes inside, suppose there is another molecule, if that molecule stays at a distance of 1 centimeter, then it will be attracted, or if it stay at a distance of less than 1 centimeter, then also it will be attracted by the molecule A. But if any other molecule stays at a distance greater than 1 centimeter, then the forces of attraction will not be observed. So we just have taken 1 centimeter as an example. Actually this range is very low. It is in this range, 10 raised to minus 9 meter. Its approximate value is nearly 10 raised to minus 9 meter, or you can say it is 10 raised to minus 7 centimeter. So clear with the concept of range of molecular attraction, which is nothing but the maximum distance up to which the intermolecular forces of attractions are effective. So when you take any molecule, so suppose it is having a range of 1 centimeter. Again take the example of 1 centimeter. So it is having a range of 1 centimeter, means up to 1 centimeter its forces are effective. So let us draw its range. But we all know that this range will be from all sides of the molecule. 1 centimeter will come over here, it will come here as well. If any molecule is here at a distance of 1 centimeter, then also it will be attracted. Similarly, it will come here also. It will come here. There are n number of directions. 3-dimensionally it will spread over here. So what we will do, we will define the area in between that these molecular forces are effective. For that we will have to study one imaginary concept. One, that is, this is our molecule A. So taking this molecule A as a center and range of molecular attraction as a radius, you can draw one sphere round the molecule. Here we have drawn one sphere round the molecule, and this sphere denotes the area of effectiveness of the molecule A. This imaginary sphere is called as sphere of influence. So our next concept is sphere of influence. Since we have to study molecular theory of surface tension, so next concept is sphere of influence. Sphere of influence is nothing but an imaginary sphere drawn round the molecule by taking molecule as a center and range of molecular attraction as a radius. So this is the concept of sphere of influence. Now surface film. Still surface of a liquid is called as surface film. You might have seen still surface of a pond. It is acting like a film. So surface film is nothing but the stationary or the surface of a liquid which is in a state of rest. Next is free surface of a liquid. Free surface of a liquid is nothing but the surface of a liquid which is in contact with air. Again, you can consider the surface of a still pond. So you can take the example of free surface as the still surface or free surface of pond which is directly in contact with air. There is no other contact over there. Now let us consider one container. Now we are going to answer. Let us study the molecular theory of a surface tension, as we all are familiar with these terms. Cohesive forces, forces between the molecule of same substance, adhesive forces, forces between the molecule of two different substances. Range of molecular attractions are nothing but the maximum distance up to which the intermolecular forces are effective. Sphere of influence, it is an imaginary sphere drawn round the molecule by taking molecule as a center and range as a radius. Then free surface, and the surface film is nothing but the still surface of a liquid. Now let us answer few questions over here. Now before that, just tell me one thing. Here we have drawn two lines. It's a line and see the two lines. Compare these two lines, A and B. What is a difference between them? You will say that this is a straight line path and this is a curved line. Or suppose it is not a line, it is an area. It is the plane. It is not a line, it is the area denoted by this line. So these are the two area or two surface of a liquid, which is first one is having a plane surface and the second one is having a curved surface. What do you say about the surface area of these two surfaces of a liquid? You can say that the surface area of the liquid B is greater as compared to the surface area of A. Surface area of B is quite greater. Now we all know that surface is formed by the molecules. Correct? So these many molecules are going to form this surface. If I add number of molecules on the surface, surface area goes on increasing. If I remove some of the molecule from the surface, then surface area will be decreases. So these are the two things that we should know, that to increase the surface area of a liquid surface, we need more number of molecule on the surface, and in order to decrease the surface area of a liquid, we need less number of molecule on the surface. So now let's start with the molecular theory. Here we have taken one container and inside the container we have taken liquid, say water. For the sake of convenience, we are just going to consider only three molecules of a water. One is molecule A, one is molecule B, and third one is molecule C. Now this surface XY, the surface XY, you can say it is a free surface of a liquid because this surface is directly in contact with air. Now surface film is nothing but the layer of this liquid. This surface film is nothing but the layer of liquid such that its thickness of this layer is equal to the range of molecular attraction. So this much part of the liquid is called as free surface film. So we have taken the surface film XY, X dash, XY dash, and the free surface of a liquid is XY because this surface is exactly in contact with air. Now let us consider three molecule. Molecule A. Concentrate on the molecule A. Where it is situated? What is the location of this molecule? You can say that the molecule A is completely within the liquid. It is completely deep inside the liquid. So we all know that all the other liquid molecule will attract the molecule A, or molecule A is going to attract the other liquid molecule. And since molecule A is only surrounded by the liquid molecule, so there will be a forces of attraction between molecule A and the other liquid molecule, and that forces will be cohesive forces. So cohesive forces of attraction acting on the molecule A. Molecule A will be, see, these are the molecules. So you will see that molecule will be attracted from all sides. So if you are pulling anything from all sides, that thing is not going to displace from its position. Resultant will be 0 because this is being pulled from all the direction. So resultant of these cohesive forces on the molecule A will be 0. So cohesive forces acting on the molecule A is 0 because one molecule will pull molecule A from this side, another molecule will pull molecule A from this side. Equal and opposite forces will cancel each other out. Similarly, one molecule will pull the molecule A from this side, one molecule will pull the molecule A from this side. Resultant will be 0. So in every case, resultant will become 0. So there will be no resultant cohesive force acting on the molecule A. Or you can say cohesive forces acting on the molecule A is 0. Now second molecule, let us consider the second molecule B. Where it is situated? It is situated just below the free surface of a liquid. It is not there on the free surface. It is just below the free surface of a liquid, or you can say it is inside a liquid film, surface film. So molecule B, what type of forces will be there? Since molecule is, when you draw the sphere of influence surrounding the molecule B, you will come to know that most of the liquid molecule will attract the molecule B. Most of the part of the sphere of influence will lies inside the liquid only, while small part will lies inside the air. So molecule B will be in contact with the liquid molecule, and there will be few air molecule in contact with the molecule B. So what are the forces acting on the molecule B? They will be cohesive as well as adhesive. So, but the magnitude of the cohesive forces acting on the molecule B will be quite high as compared to the molecule, as compared to the forces due to air molecule. So adhesive forces, so only few number of air molecule are in contact with the molecule B. So there will be a very less number of air molecule in contact with B. So that is why adhesive forces of attraction acting on the molecule B will be neglected as compared to the cohesive forces of attraction acting on the molecule B. So here we are going to neglect the two forces. One is force of gravity, second one is the adhesive forces due to air molecule, because small part of this sphere of influence lies in air. So we will have to calculate only the cohesive forces. So when you take these two cohesive forces, they are equal and opposite, resultant will be directed in upward direction. But see these two forces, they are equal and opposite, cancel each other out. See the next two forces. When you see these forces, you will come to know that these forces are just forming, this is our molecule, remaining cohesive forces are forming the two adjacent sides of the parallelogram. You will have studied by using the law of parallelogram that the resultant of these forces will lie along the diagonal. So when you complete the parallelogram, you will see the diagonal in this direction. So similarly, resultant of these forces, see, which are acting along the two adjacent sides of the parallelogram, resultant is directed in downward direction. Resultant of these forces will be directed along the diagonal and it will come in downward direction. So this force is called as downward pull. So molecule B is being pulled inward. rest of the liquid molecule will try to move the molecule B inside the liquid only. Now let us see the molecule C, which is there on the free surface of a liquid, since this surface is directly in contact with air. So when you draw the sphere of influence surrounding the molecule C, you will come to know that half part of the sphere of influence lies in liquid and remaining half lies in air. So how many forces are going to act on the molecule C? Again, there will be two forces, cohesive as well as adhesive. In the lower half of the imaginary sphere, forces of attraction will be adhesive forces, and in the upper half of the imaginary sphere, forces of attraction will be adhesive forces, as there will be few number of air molecule which is in contact with the molecule C. So again, when you compare the adhesive and cohesive forces, you will come to know that the adhesive forces are very smaller as compared to the cohesive forces. So again, in this case, the resultant adhesive forces will be neglected, as there are only few number of molecule in contact with the molecule C. So adhesive forces of attraction due to air molecule is also neglected on the molecule C. Again, when you count the resultant cohesive forces acting on the molecule C. Now see these two molecules, equal and opposite forces, they are going to cancel each other. But see the rest of the forces, they are directed along the two adjacent sides of the parallelogram. So resultant lies along the diagonal of the parallelogram. When you draw the diagonal of this parallelogram, you will get this direction. So again, you can say that there will be a downward pull acting on the molecule C. So B and C both will be attracted by all the other liquid molecule in a downward direction, and this force is called as downward pull. Now just give me one answer that molecule C is there on the surface of a liquid, while molecule B is there just below the free surface of a liquid. Means it is already there in the liquid, while the molecule C is there on the surface of a liquid. So rest of the liquid molecule are applying downward pull on C as well as on B. So which of these downward pull will be maximum? Which molecule will require maximum downward pull to get inside the liquid? Obviously, the downward pull acting on the molecule C will be greater as compared to the downward pull acting on the molecule B, because this molecule is already there inside the liquid. You just need to pull it slightly to make it more inside a liquid, while molecule C is there on the surface. It is above to that of the molecule B. So it will need a greater pull to move inside a liquid. So downward pull acting on the molecule which is there on the surface will be maximum as compared to the downward pull acting on the molecule which is molecule B, which is there inside a liquid surface. So both these molecules are being attracted in a downward direction. What happened? Why the liquid molecule are moving this molecule C inside to be inside a liquid? Because as the molecule C, when you decrease the number of molecule from the surface area of a liquid decreases. And what I told you that liquid surface wants to minimize its surface area. So in order to minimize the surface area of this liquid, we need to bring some of the molecule from the surface to the interior part of a liquid. That is why surface molecules are always being pulled in downward direction to decrease the surface area. And what happens if I want to increase the surface area of a liquid? If I want to increase the surface area of a liquid, some of the molecule from the interior of a liquid should be brought on the surface. As I had given you the example, if you want to increase the surface area, make more number of molecule on the surface. If you want to decrease the surface area of a liquid, drop out number of molecules from the surface. So as the number of molecule on the surface increases, surface area of a liquid surface also increases. So let's see what happens when we are going to increase the surface area of a liquid. So consider the same surface. If you want to increase the surface area of a liquid, you need to bring some of the molecule from interior of a liquid to the surface. Bring the molecule from the interior to the surface. Correct? So when we do this, our surface area of a liquid will increase. But for that purpose, what we will have to do, because each and every molecule is being acted in an inward direction because of the downward pull. So if in order to move some of the molecule from the interior of a liquid to the surface, we need to work against this downward pull. We'll have to move against the direction of the downward pull, because one molecule is being acted upon a force which is directed in a downward direction. So when you are moving in onto the top surface of a liquid, you'll have to work against this downward pull. So this work done will be stored in the form of potential energy. So when you bring this molecule from the interior to the surface, surface area increases, or you can say that potential energy content of a liquid surface also increases. And as I told you in the start of the lecture, that everybody wants to acquire the minimum state of energy, so that the minimum amount of work is to be done. This is the natural tendency of every object, that every object wants to remain inactive. For that, energy level should be very low. So when you increase the surface area of a liquid, some amount of work is to be done against the inward pull. That work done will be stored in the form of potential energy. Hence, when we increase the surface area of a liquid, its potential energy content will also increase. So nobody wants to be incremented in the amount of energy. किसी को भी अपनी एनर्जी इंक्रीज नहीं करना है, क्योंकि जितनी एनर्जी जिसके पास रहेगी उसको उतना ही काम करना पड़ेगा. सो दैट इज वाई लिक्विड जो है वो भी बहुत लेजी है और वो भी कम काम करना चाहती है. इसके लिए वो अपना एनर्जी लेवल जो है कम करने के लिए अपना सरफेस एरिया कम करती है, और अपना सरफेस एरिया कम करती है तो इसके लिए वो स्फेरिकल शेप एक्वायर करती है. So this is the reason behind it. In the next lecture, we are going to see the mathematical we are going to see the definition. This is the phenomena of surface tension, but we will see its concept and definition in the next lecture. Hope you have understood the topic. Thank you.